Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra. The global market sell-off, which spooked investors worldwide on August 5 of 2024, was caused by one key issue: the Japanese yen carry trade. Now, if you are wondering what exactly is the Japanese yen carry trade and what it actually means for the financial markets worldwide, then I will explain everything to you in this video. Here is all you need to know about the Japanese yen carry trade that blew up the stock markets worldwide as of yesterday. Well, let us first understand what exactly is a carry trade. A carry trade is a hugely popular trading strategy where an investor borrows from a country with low interest rates and a weaker currency and then reinvests the money in the assets of another country with a higher rate of return. This has been one of the biggest sources of flows in global currency market thus far. It is a form of speculative trading strategy that involves borrowing money in a currency which is low in interest rates and investing in assets in a currency which has high interest rates. Thereby, you end up making more profits. So, what are the key factors that actually impact this trade? One is the interest rate differential between the two countries and the currencies, and second is the fluctuation in the exchange rates as well. Now, what has really happened as of yesterday is that, remember, the Bank of Japan or the Japanese economy has already had been having an ultra loose policy for 17 long years and a weak yen, and therefore global investors always used to prefer Japanese yen for carry trade. Let us assume that you borrow 1 lakh Japanese yen at the 0.1% interest rate, and then you convert the borrowed yen into US dollars and invest it in a US asset that yields you about a 5% annual return. In this hypothetical scenario, you maintain the investment for 1 year. The cost of borrowing the Japanese yen is 0.1%. The return on the US investment is more than 5% of the invested US dollar amount. Just like this example, investors have actually spent years borrowing the cheap yen to buy high-yielding assets elsewhere in the world. The yen carry trade also gained focus as of yesterday as the yen suddenly appreciated sharply after Bank of Japan raised interest rates unexpectedly last week and reduced the bond purchases. This caused investors to unwind their positions to avoid losses, leading to a sharp sell-off in stock markets worldwide, and that caused a rout in US markets, in the Asian markets, and also the Indian markets. So why are investors unwinding the yen carry trade? Remember, the Japanese yen has appreciated by 10% over just the last 3 weeks, from the levels of 161 on July 11 to around 145 as of now. And as the yen appreciated against the US dollar, investors had to rush to unwind their carry trade in order to cut losses. Investors therefore began also to exit their stock market positions to repay their yen borrowings, and that is what also led to sharp sell-off in the global equities. So what are the risks now? Well, most of the experts say that the risk going forward in the markets is not just what about Japanese yen and how it trades going forward, but also rather what the US tech stocks also do. So those are the two risks that we need to monitor. How about India? Does India need to worry about the yen appreciation and the carry trade impact? Well, one really doesn't know as to how big an investment has been made in Indian stocks through the yen carry trade. But if a global unraveling happens, pressure definitely will be felt on India as well. According to NSDL, the Japanese foreign portfolio investors hold equities worth about 2.05 trillion rupees. A stronger yen would actually prompt some of the selling by these set of investors. Remember, India has also been one of the biggest beneficiaries of the near zero interest rates that have existed in Japan for long 17 years. The strategic and the friendly relationship between both the Asian powerhouses, India and Japan, have actually seen cheap capital available to fund India's infrastructure push in the last 10 years. Moreover, it has also pushed Indian companies to raise cheap funds to fuel their own capital expenditure in the area of roads, highways, power, etc. Now, yen carry trade will increase the debt serving cost of Indian companies that have raised their long-term yen loans in the last 10 years, backed by the near zero interest rates. And therefore, some of the experts believe that India's infra spending could also face the brunt as well. Now remember, with the increase of the Japanese interest rates going forward, if the Bank of Japan continues to do so, market experts believe this will lead to increased flows in Japanese markets because more people will get higher rate of interest there. So flows from around the world could actually, go to a place where interest rates will in fact start to rise. Remember, worldwide we are talking about how the US market, US central bank, the US Fed will now begin to cut rates. Same way in the Indian markets, we are talking about how the Indian Central Bank, the RBI, will talk about a path to cut rates. They have been in a long extended pause. So we are actually waiting for a rate cycle reversal to happen. But in the key markets worldwide where the interest rates are rising, that is where most of the investors will put their money because they get a higher rate of return on their investments. And this could strengthen the Japanese yen against US dollar even going forward. The recent reports that have suggested is that US inflation and unemployment also suggest US Fed might have to consider a more aggressive rate cut approach. So returns earned in the US markets will diminish and they will further hurt the profitability, and therefore there is this entire fear as to there could be the biggest ever unwinding of the Japanese yen carry on trade that's happening right now, and that could probably hurt the markets for some more time. This is a developing situation and we will keep telling you as and when there are more details that emerge. But this video's purpose was largely to help you understand what exactly is the Japanese carry on trade or the carry on trade right there in the currency world, and how does it really impact the markets worldwide, so that you get an understanding of why worldwide the markets were under severe pressure of yesterday. And we'll have to see whether it's all done for now or is there some more pain that we are going to be seeing going forward from here. Stay tuned to Business Today Television to keep watching such informative videos.
Man of the moment, Mr. Rahul Bhatia from Indigo joining me. 18 years, lot of emotions, couple of them which were seen today. How would you summarize your journey?
It's been an interesting journey. I mean, it has had its pressures, and but that's true with anything you do in life. There are moments in time where it's a moment of truth. In 2008, this was about 2.5 years into the business. We were at the verge of bankruptcy. And then we thought beyond that, the rest was history, as they say, but then COVID arrived and we burned through billions of dollars of free cash. And that was another moment of test. So it's a journey. You just look back at it and see it's a juxtapose of some good things that happened, some not so good things that happened. And, it brings some emotions. I'm sorry about that.
You said Indigo and I are here to stay. And that has a lot of sentimental value, not just with people who are working with you, but people who've been flying with you. A word to them.
If for an airline.
And I said that in the context of the fact that, the parent company, Interglobe, sold some 2% of its holdings earlier this year, and there was speculation or there was a question mark on the commitment of Interglobe and I personally. And I just thought it was in order to let the world know that I ain't going anywhere.
You're not going anywhere.
I'm right here and I will be, because there's so much more work to be done.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bhatia, for speaking with us.
How would you look at Bharti Airtel, for instance, that reported its numbers? We've seen a slew of brokerage houses reports as well. So Citi has a buy call with a target of 1750. Macquarie has a neutral call with a target of 1280. UBS also has a neutral call, but 1530 is their own target as well. Most of the brokerage houses believe that Q1 was largely in line with expectations, and now that all eyes will be on how the tariff hikes will be in the coming quarters as well. How would you really look at Bharti Airtel now post the earnings?
Such is a clear, buy only declines kind of a strategy as far as Bharti Airtel is concerned. 211 was the ARPU for this quarter, but the price hike which they have taken will play out in Q2 and Q3. And that is where the delta in the upward trajectory for increasing ARPUs will come into play. Guidance is for 300 kind of an ARPU, which is still 40% appreciation from the current ARPU levels. And that I think will happen because now even Jio has been taking a price hike, and that was the main player which brought the ARPUs down initially. So things are working in favor of Bharti, and then you have other value unlocking plays like Bharti Nextra into it. So that will also happen maybe in a year or 2 years time frame. So these things will keep the momentum going. Data usage anyways is going, so there is no two ways about that. We are buyers in Bharti Airtel on decline. Structurally, I think you should be adding on a basis, and valuation wise, let Nextra thing come out in the open, and then we'll do the SOTP based on valuation. As of now, 40-50% return from 2 years perspective looks very likely on Bharti Airtel.
Cloudburst led landslides. The tragedy that has impacted life and livelihood. An unfortunate calamity. As fate had it, the deadly Kerala flood continues to wreak havoc in the state, especially the hilly areas in Wayanad. With several lives lost and many displaced, numerous celebrities from the film fraternity have stepped forward in order to help the affected people. From Chiranjeevi and Ram Charan, who contributed a sum of 1 crore rupees to the Chief Minister's Relief Fund, to Ulaganayagan of Indian cinema, Kamal Hassan extending his support by donating 25 lakh rupees. Help coming in bulk for the state of Kerala. While Surya, Karthi and Jyotika collectively donated 50 lakh rupees, Rashmika Mandana on the other hand extended a support of 10 lakh rupees to help the victims. Meanwhile, the Malayalam superstar Mammootty and Dulquer Salman contributed a sum of 25 lakh rupees and 15 lakh rupees respectively. Allu Arjun also expressed his grief and stepped forward to support the rehabilitation at landslide hit Wayanad. The actor even donated 25 lakh rupees to the Kerala Chief Minister Relief Fund to support the work. Fahad Fazil also made a donation of 25 lakh rupees to the Chief Minister's Distress Relief Fund to help survivors rebuild their life and livelihood. Mohanlal meanwhile reached the landslide hit Wayanad in his honorary army uniform and pledged to donate 3 crore rupees for the rehabilitation work of the disaster hit region. Chyan Vikram is one of the other celebrities who donated a sum of 20 lakh rupees. Besides these notable actors, filmmaker Anand Patwardhan has made a donation of 2,20,000 rupees, money which he bagged during the 16th International Documentary and Short Film Festival of Kerala. Now, as the state along with the entire nation join hands to bring the life of distressed people back on track, prayers also pouring in from across the country for those who either lost their life or their loved ones.
We want to go across now to Sajid Wajid Joy, son of the former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, the eldest grandson of the father of the Bangladeshi nation, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. He's come under the spotlight as Bangladesh faces severe political unrest. His mother and the former Prime Minister now in the national capital in India. Joy, so welcome and thank you for your time. Could you begin by telling our viewers on India Today about the last conversation you had with your mom and the former Prime Minister of Bangladesh? How is she doing now? What is she telling you?
I spoke with her earlier this morning, and she is in good spirits, but she's very disheartened, very disappointed that after she has taken Bangladesh from a country that was a failing country, a failing state, a poor country with militancy rising, she fought the militancy with an iron hand. She developed Bangladesh into a middle-income country, and today it's a minority, it's just a vocal minority that turned against her. And so now she is very disappointed, and frankly speaking, she is done. She's 77 years old. This was going to be her last term. She was going to retire after this anyway. And so she is done with Bangladesh.
Why is it that as a family you've decided that Sheikh Hasina will not be going back to Bangladesh? What does she intend to do with her time? Where do you hope that she goes from here? There are reports of her wanting to go to the United Kingdom. Can you confirm that?
No, the reports of the United Kingdom are false. She has not applied for asylum anywhere. She has not decided. But most likely from now on, as you know, my family, her whole family, we have been settled outside of Bangladesh for decades now. And so she will probably spend more time with her grandchildren around the world.
Do you foresee any trouble in her movement across the world? Because she's left in circumstances where it's uncertain about whether she'll be able to travel. Does she require asylum, or will she be able to move around as a free citizen? Do you have any clarity on that?
No, I don't see her having any problem. She has not done anything wrong. She is not. Our government was regarded as the best government of Bangladesh, so no, I don't see any problem with that.
What expectations do you, your mother and your former government have from the government of Prime Minister Narendra Modi in India?
I feel bad for the government of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the government of India, because Bangladesh, we were Sheikh Hasina's government, we were a close ally. We kept fundamentalism at bay. We kept Pakistan's influence out of Bangladesh. And now that influence is going to come back. Already you have minority temples and homes being attacked in Bangladesh.